It's Tuesday, July 30. Good afternoon. I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. The education sector is in mourning following the murder of a female teacher of the Shebian Preparatory School in Port Antonio, Portland. She has been identified as 29-year-old Latoya Hill, otherwise called Trish, of David Lane, Port Antonio. It's understood that she was killed sometime between midnight and 3 o'clock Tuesday morning. Reports to our newsroom are that neighbors heard the woman crying and pleading for her life. Shortly after, a man who was identified as her common-law husband was seen dragging what appeared to be a female body along the roadway from his house towards a vehicle. According to the neighbors, the man made several attempts to put the body inside the vehicle, but it proved futile. Her body was then left along the roadway while the man drove away in his vehicle. The police were summoned, and the body of Miss Hill was found with with a wound to the forehead. A member of the community spoke with our news team following the incident.
The guy is somebody where you see. The lady is somebody where you see. You hardly see them. So we don't know what we say about them. We don't know how them lifestyle. And we just have to listen and find out. But now the main suspect with them say they're on the loose. So we just have to go and live and see what going to happen and what take place. But this one could be easy for the police to solve.
The family of 17-year-old Ronaldo Livingston, a Seaford High School student, is still trying to come to grips with his death. It's reported that Livingston disappeared after he went swimming at the Marlin Bay fishing village Sunday afternoon. Members of the fishing village launched a search for him. However, his body disappeared into the ocean. His body was recovered Monday morning. One of the fishermen who aided in the search told TVJ News that they spotted what they thought was a floating object and upon getting closer, discovered it was the 17-year-old's body. Livingston's drowning comes only a month after a similar incident in the parish in which a 12-year-old boy also drowned. Another member of the campaign in support of People's National Party leadership challenger Peter Bunting is reiterating that it's time for a change of government. According to chairman of the Rise United camp and MP for South St. Andrew, Mark Golding, the level of corruption within the Andrew Holness-led government is tainting the success of the country. He contends that if Peter Bunting is elected in the PNP presidential runoff in September, there will be a brighter outlook. TVJ's O'Shane Masters tells us more.
We are at a moment when we need to do the right thing, to put the party in a position to take back reins of power from the most corrupt government in the history of Jamaica.
South St. Andrew Member of Parliament Mark Golding addressing constituents at his constituency's annual conference on Sunday evening. He says the present administration, which is being led by Andrew Holness, has been marred by corrupt allegations. Mr. Golding contends that it's time for the country to get a government which is trustworthy. In the meantime, Mr. Golding says the last general election showed how disorganized the PNP was, despite the significant strides which he claimed had been made by that administration.
There were too many agendas at work, and as a result, some bad decisions were made, tactical mistakes, and we lost that election barely, and we are paying a price for it, comrades, because the wicket that we laid has been set, and the JLP is reaping the fruits that they didn't sow.
It was the same for PNP presidential aspirant Peter Bunting. He says it has not stopped, as persons are criticizing him for running against Dr. Peter Phillips. But Mr. Bunting is adamant that the words being hurled at him and his campaign will not stop them.
The Jamaican people no love bad mind. Bad mind never worked in 2016. It never worked in East Portland. Why you believe it won't work now?
But both Mr. Bunting and Mr. Golding conceded that once the internal race is over on September 7 and the president elected, the healing process will have to begin.
All of the feelings have to be put aside, and we must come back together and weld and mend so that we are one strong, united force.
People don't unite just for unite's sake. They unite when they have a purpose that is bigger than their differences.
Rashid Masters, TVJ News.
In the meantime, Mr. Golding is criticizing aspects of the physical developments being undertaken by the Holness-led government. He says not all areas will receive the benefits of the improved infrastructure.
This government has nothing in it for you. We need to return a PNP government to office so that we can have a program that is focused on uplifting and empowering people who are not in the top and narrowest side of society, but who have the tremendous talent and potential to rise.
Now, campaign director for the Rise United camp, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, says it will be trouble for the party if PNP presidential aspirant Peter Bunting is not crowned victorious on September 7.
The polls show us now that if they don't, then we would have a problem. The truth is that the entire, how I look at it, because I'm a PNP, we know what the PNP stands for. The two men are two good men. I believe that Peter Bunting is the better choice at this point to lead the People's National Party. I am hoping that in terms of the movement that he has started, that there will be no reversal of that, win, lose, or draw.
Dr. Brown-Burke was appointed as campaign director yesterday. She was speaking this morning on Power 106 FM's Morning Agenda. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, appears set to finally receive the remaining used cars due under the controversial contract with O'Brien's International Car Sales and Rentals. This after a 2-year delay. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang told TVJ News that O'Brien's began clearing the vehicles from the wharf yesterday.
They have started a process that, after the last discussion with the lawyers, I think they worked out a review of what came out of the mediation, and they have an involvement of a financial house that is getting them on the right track. So I have exact figures for tomorrow, but I know they should be clearing all the pickups by tomorrow.
Dr. Chang says all the vehicles should be cleared within the next 28 days. The contract was issued to O'Brien's in 2016. The matter was placed before mediation after the company failed to supply the vehicles. However, despite being given several deadlines to deliver the vehicles as agreed during mediation, the JCF is yet to receive the complete order. The government had threatened to sue the car dealer. And we now take a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. We have more stories when we return. Welcome back, continuing the news. Following a damning audit report regarding financial mismanagement at Duns River Falls and Park in St. Anne, the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, is reporting that significant progress has been made in addressing some issues which were identified. The issues were highlighted in the audit into the operations of the UDC subsidiary, St. Anne Development Company, published in January 2019. The UDC says since the implementation of new measures, there have been improved management of sales and revenue, financial systems, information technology, and governance at the attraction. According to a release from the UDC, the measures also yielded results, including increased revenue for the first quarter of the 2019-2020 financial year. It also noted that an image scanning solution, which allows for tracking and recording of each ticket purchased, was implemented to monitor discounted local sales since February. Attempts have also been made to enhance security at the location through increased use of cameras, training, and monitoring. Now, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says he is in the dark about the planned takeover of the problem-plagued Fly Jamaica Airways by a team of investors. The team, which includes Jamaican aviation veteran Glenn Logan, assumed control of the airline last week from Guyanese operators Paul and Roxanne Reese. TVJ News sought a response from Mr. Bartlett during a news conference yesterday.
We haven't gotten that information yet. We read it in the papers like everybody else, so we're not able to react as yet. But if indeed what is written in the paper is true, then that's good news.
The new owners of the airline say flights are scheduled to resume in September. There's a new wave of investment in the Jamaican trucking industry as a deal between Tankwell Jamaica and international partners has produced a fleet of brand new trucks in the island. Speaking at the announcement ceremony on Friday, Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Audley Shaw, applauded the effort of the partnership and mentioned the opportunities it now creates for Jamaicans operating in the trucking industry.
Trucks of different sizes, different capacities can fit into different opportunities across the economy of Jamaica.
The partnership includes Chinese investor Shackman and is funded by JN Bank. The fleet of trucks includes several brands such as Shackman, which covers a wide variety of heavy-duty vehicles for the construction and transportation. Audley Shaw added that entrepreneurs should make the best of the opportunity and embrace the responsibilities that accompany it.
Every entrepreneur, embrace this opportunity. Get new equipment, protect your equipment, be productive, help it to be profitable in your business.
The second tranche of the Technology Advancement Program, TAP, was launched this morning at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. The first phase was launched in 2017. The program seeks to create employment opportunities for unattached and vulnerable youths through the use of information and communications technology, training, and work experience. At Tuesday's launch ceremony, Technology Minister Favour Williams explained that the new phase of TAP has been bolstered through a collaboration with another government program.
This time around, the initiative has been joined with the government's training and apprenticeship program, Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment, the HOPE program. Together, the lives of some 600 young men and women will be transformed as they gain skills and experience they will need to actively participate in a digital society.
The first phase of the program saw some 890 participants who either did not complete secondary school or had challenges transitioning into the workforce. Of that number, 667 completed the program and were successfully placed in jobs under the on-the-job phase of the program. It's anticipated that more participants will benefit from the new phase.
Is in keeping with the USF's mandate under the Telecommunications Act 2012 to support ICT programs that specifically target vulnerable groups, including youth and disabled persons. This program goes to the heart of our efforts to create a digitally inclusive and a digitally literate society.
We go now to news and sports. With nomination for the presidency of the Jamaica Football Federation set to close in 2 days' time, a veteran and former president is seeking to enter the race. Tony James says he has been approached to challenge incumbent Michael Ricketts.
Tony James has been there, done that, and he's trying to do it again if he can get the sufficient nominations ahead of Wednesday's deadline. The former JFF president, who served between 1985 and 1992, is looking to make a late run after being called out by football interests who are not willing to sponsor the current JFF administration.
One of these people had all money on the North Coast, all money into football. And I think all the man is saying he's willing to help to support the youth program, but he needs to have a vibrant youth program. He needs to have accountability. He doesn't want his money being put that way because he has spent a lot of it and he has seen nothing much for his investment, and he wants to make sure that if he's going to help finance the youth program, that these things are in place.
At age 67, James could be considered too old to be seeking office again, but he says the younger people are afraid to challenge the incumbent.
Tony James doesn't need more than one term. Less than that, to restructure football, I definitely wouldn't be going for more than one term because they are younger people, much brighter than me. There are people existing in the JFF who should be putting themselves forward. They have to be brought to the fore. You have to have respect for the seniority of those who have kept the game going and reward them accordingly.
And it's not just age that could be against James, but the time in which he has to launch his challenge. James says the current voting system, which sees only parish presidents casting votes, is flawed, as women's football representation has been locked out. James was speaking on Hits 92 FM's current affairs program, Sports Grill, on Monday. Karen Madden, TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Remember to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the News Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.